Fruity and green apple. Welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Lüning, Horst Lüning. I'm the master taster of Whisky.com. And today, I found a bottle cleaning up the shelves, and it's wrapped in plastic and says, leaking. So this one is a Tomatin, 30 years old, 46% ABV. Well, the price had been around 200 euros, pounds, dollars, and it's unchill filtered. And the bottles are long gone from the shelves, and there had been some 40 years old, and sorry to make that noise, 40 years old and 41 years old on the market, and those had been single casks. But this one, some distance holders. Yeah, and here it shows some marks. No, this is just worn out a little bit. It's not leaking. Yeah, I will open it. The problem is you typically can't sell bottles, very expensive bottles, if they show some wear. Very expensive bottles are either, the people who buy this have a lot of money, and if they spend that much money, they want to have perfect bottles. And if bottles show some wear, then they won't buy it. And if you say, this is a few pounds off, they won't buy either. So, matured in a combination of European and North American oak casks. Limited release. Matured for over 30 years. Tomatin had been the biggest malt whiskey distillery in Scotland, and during their extreme production times, they had 23 pot stills. I visited them the first time in 1994, I think, and one row of 11 and one row of 12 stills stood side by side. And they were, they had stopped production, this heavy production, and focused on 4 stills then. And in the meantime, they sold most of the old stills because of the value of the copper for recycling. There were tons and tons of copper. And the best of the stills they kept over because when they produced in lower quantities, high quality whiskey, then the stills will wear out sometime, and then they can switch over to the exactly shaped stills without paying anything because they are already there. So they have very few maintenance costs in terms of replacing those old copper stills. Tja. That's all. Casks were chosen from many thousands of casks. Those old casks were just a few dozen, because today those old whiskies are gone. They are no longer available by Tomatin. So the amount of old cask was very, very limited, and some of them were very light, fruity on the cork, extremely. Some were very, very light, and this one was a combination of European casks, typically sherry casks, and those ex-bourbon casks. Fruity and green apple. Extremely green apple, Granny Smith. Incredible. And in the back there's some some drops, citron drops. I remember a time in my childhood, we had those yellow, hard, sugary drops with a citron flavor in it, or citron juice in it. So it was sour and sweet together, and they had some frost put over. And melon, this light melon, not the watermelon, but these honey melons. No, not the honey, how are they called? No, those green yellowish flesh melons. Not the yellow one, these honey melons, and not the red one with the black seeds, those watermelons. No, those with the green. Little honey showing through, and probably some leather. Yeah. So it's extremely fruity and complex, incredibly complex. And this one is, yeah, it's 46. Mm-hmm. And now the citron, extremely strong. Probably a little nuttiness, very little oak. And the citrus note is vanishing relatively fast, and this melon honey note stays longer. Yeah. Very different to a typical Highland malt whiskey. So this green apple citrus note is definitely, yeah, at least to say weird. It's extremely strong. So I wouldn't have had the idea that this is whiskey. Yeah. Second verse, same as the first. Wonderful. I had a lot of Tomatin whiskies already here in my cask, and there had been a legacy, a no age statement whiskey, which is produced in batches, which was extremely wonderful. It was young and, well, not that deep and complex, but easy sipping and wonderful. So it's time that Tomatin is building up stocks again, bringing or keeping higher ages like this one for the upcoming decades. So there's still a little bit to go. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned. There's more.